What's up, people? There's Ian and maybe Chris coming.
He's in the home stretch.
There he
There he
is.
is.
I'm here.
All right. Yay. How's everyone doing tonight? Welcome to season 12, episode 8 of the Will Reads. Yeah.
For those of you that
Yay.
are still with us, we appreciate you.
Those of you still counting. It's for anybody that's still counting, this is episode 238. For those that want to keep track of how many episodes we've actually done. This is the 238th time we've done this. That's a lot.
That's nuts.
Isn't it? It's a lot of episodes. It's a lot of hours. If you start adding it all up. Because back in the day, when we first started this, we did now they're around an hour long every single time. But we used to have 3-4 hour episodes.
Yeah, there were some big ones, especially when we had certain guests.
Yeah. Well, the record is still the Will Takes, where we started at 9 and went to 1 o'clock in the morning.
That was so much fun.
And at that point, we're just rushing through, all right, we just need to finish. Oh my god! I don't think we talked about the book at all. It was fun. We got to get.
I remember the next day, my cheeks hurt from laughing and smiling so much. Like I had cramps in my jaw.
Does that include the Will Reads Does Cosmere? No, it does not include the Will Reads Does Cosmere. Those are separate, and there's lots of other things that we've done too. But yeah, it was a different time.
Or
COVID
better.
wasn't. Yeah. Speaking of Cosmere, I actually finally finished When in Truth today.
What?
How you feeling?
So good.
It's so good. How am I feeling?
You still processing?
I'm still processing. There's so much that happens at the end of that book, and I'm still processing.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah, so much. I mean, there's Sander Lanches, and that one was just.
What just happened to me?
Yeah, what just happened? There was so much philosophical stuff happening. Yeah, anyway, I'm not getting into it. It was a lot.
It's like a whole other podcast.
A lot of self reflection and introspection. Yeah, it was interesting. But announcements. Let's start there. We do have a new patron, so we got to start with that. The Warrior.
Yay.
The Warrior.
Thank
Reads.
you.
Yeah.
The Warrior Read.
The Warrior Reads. Yeah.
This episode's for you.
Yeah.
We appreciate you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yay.
So, welcome. Welcome to our family of Patreons. And then I guess no other announcements really. I do apologize for last year's Cosmere Reads episode with Alondo. Forgive him for he does not know what he does, or he does not know.
Yeah.
When you start being critical of a book because you don't have everything, I'm like, dude, you're gonna foot and mouth later.
Just be patient.
Just be patient.
That's part of the fun of it, though.
I know it is. It is.
I didn't watch the episode, but Alan, you shared a little bit of it with me, and then I was reflecting on it, and I was like, you know what? I kind of thought some of those thoughts along the way also, but we didn't talk about it as much.
Yeah, he went on an angry rant about how much he just hated this section. And I was like, really? And I was like, and I started thinking about it. I was like, because you don't know. That makes sense. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
He's like, there's so many plot holes. I was like, no, there's not.
That's part of the fun of Sanderson. And I don't know how much you've given him, but before I started reading, I listened to you and Chris talk about it, and you always told me, be patient. If you don't know what Sanderson, be patient. He is a master at connecting the dots, whether it's in the same book, books later, a whole different era, everything loops around and touches and connects and makes sense.
Sure.
So,
well, speaking of connecting the dots and those kind of things, connecting dots of the past. Do you want to talk about the TV show?
Ooh.
So, if anybody has not watched
segue.
Wheel of Time, season 3, episode 4, Road to the Spear. I'll wave my hands.
What are you doing with your life?
You can mute yourself, and I'll wave or something like that when we're done talking about it, so you don't spoil. But anyway, if you're listening, by the time this comes out, if you're not watching it, doesn't matter because I'm so far behind. This is gonna come out for like 2 more months.
So I'll say I made the mistake of watching this episode first on my phone because I wasn't home when I went to watch it. And I've gotten away with that with some other episodes, but this one I was halfway through. I was like, oh, I gotta get to the house and put this on the big screen. And so I rewatched it again on the TV, and I think it was phenomenal. Yeah. The Riridian part, you always we talk about it so much, like how they could put this on the big screen, Right. I didn't necessarily picture it quite like that, but it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
It was so good.
The way they did the tree was really close to how I pictured that tree of life. That looked really good. The glass columns wasn't exactly how I pictured them, but it worked. Riridian itself was how I pictured it. The cloud city and fog or whatever and everything like that. That kind of creepiness going through it. They definitely got that whole vibe. So that was,
yeah. I like in the book. Did it talk about where everybody drops their weapons and there's just lines of them that people never pick back up because they never come back out?
So when
I guess I didn't catch on to that, but that was very cool visual.
Yeah, they talk about that in the book too. I mean, that's when Matt has to take out. So Moraine does it in the show, but takes out all the daggers from others. But Matt did it in the book. The exact same thing. Right. So So they do talk about that in the books. Yeah. Couladin was on point.
Wow.
Nailed it.
Yeah, we were like, wait a second, is he really? And he was just scratching his eyes out. I was like, man.
No, that's Mirrodin. I'm talking Couladin, the guy inside the tent that was like a wet lady listen to.
Yeah. It's like, but he played his role just right.
He did. Yeah, he did a great job. And give it to Yosha, who played all the different versions of his ancestors. Did you realize that? Like all the
the makeup was phenomenal.
Even the old man was him, like trying to change his voice and everything like that. Like it was all him, just in prosthetics and makeup.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
How about when they came out and like Rand and Moraine didn't say anything to each other, but they gave each other looks like, what the? Well, not just that, but like, with the knowledge that they got, Moraine with her bazillion different possible futures, and like she now has a deeper understanding of Rand and what's to come.
Right.
And Rand's like deeper understanding of the past and how they got to where they are. And
it's interesting that they did it this way because it reminded me of so they combined two elements of the Wheel of Time together for that scene. Where obviously they didn't go to the Eelfin and the Elfin, or they haven't yet. They did play Snakes and Foxes in one of the episodes. I saw that. So there is some lore there still. But of course, Moraine has to know where her path's going. I'm not going to say more in case you're just a show watcher. I don't know why you're listening to Gathering Storm then. But anyway, but anyways, just in case, Moraine got that from one of them, the Elfin and the Eelfin. I always get confused which one it was. But they kind of used flicker. So that was, the flicker where you lived a million different lives and a million different possibilities.
Right.
It was kind of mixing the flicker with getting the answers, which was I think clever way of still getting their flicker scene, like get kind of dizzy going round and round and round.
Right.
Yeah. Did you notice who was playing Snakes and Foxes? I think Matt was. I'm not sure who's playing with. Or was it not Matt? Huh. Now I'm going to wonder about that. I did not notice who it was. Who was playing Snakes and Foxes? Was it Perrin and Matt? I thought it was the two of them or something. Maybe not. I'll go back and watch that episode.
I know not. We'll have to check on it.
It was Rand and Perrin and one other. Huh. Okay. I'll have to go back and look. That's interesting. Okay.
Go find that little egg.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. I also like the Perrin stuff leading up to this. The Perrin stuff felt a little more rushed, trying to get him in charge of things down there and throwing in Lord Luca or whatever his name was.
Lord Luca, yeah.
Which immediately I thought he was a douche, but whatever.
He did a great job.
Yeah. Especially because it was like a little blip. He's not in it a bunch yet. But he definitely embodied what you're supposed to feel for him.
Although his intro music when he walked in was not. They missed a golden opportunity.
Where were they supposed to play?
Slayer.
Oh yeah, something a little heavier. Good point.
Golden opportunity.
I don't know why I didn't guess that.
Anyway, fun times. Personal life. Since now we've been talking about the show and announcements and everything. Let's see what's going on. I did a lot of driving last weekend, so that's why I finally caught up on audiobooks. Hence, When in Truth got finished. Because I drove to Connecticut and back last weekend.
Which is crazy.
It's a long drive. Dude, I didn't realize how many cities going from Virginia to Connecticut I had to drive through and how much it's like you have to drive through DC, through Baltimore, through Philadelphia, through New York City, like through the cities. And I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. So actually going up there, like, so we split up we went up there and stayed in Jersey Thursday night and then drove the rest of the way Friday and then drove it whole way back on Saturday. And I thought I would hit a lot more traffic in New York on Friday, driving through New York City. No traffic at all. Saturday coming back through New York, I guess it's just a crapshoot. Like going through the Bronx, traffic everywhere. Like I'm like, anyway.
Yep.
Just a roll of dice. Yeah. Fun times. That's all I did last weekend was that. Still getting ready for renovations. That's pretty much all I got. So what about you guys? What's going
on? Work is worky. Trying to dodge the Doge. I think I'm doing a pretty good job of that. And yeah. So for us, on top of the once a week sending your 5 bullet points, our folks have us daily sending what did we do today to our immediate supervisor, which like I kind of track that stuff anyways, mostly so I don't have like one repetitive task that I do. I have a bazillion different things I'm juggling at once. Yeah. So I have to kind of keep a list and where I'm at with each one because you get an emergency pops up over here, you get pulled from what you were doing here, and I got to know where I'm going back to. So it's not that big a deal, but it still feels
yeah.
Like I hate doing it, but whatever.
I have a friend of mine that works for the NSA, National Security Association, and he said that they were told they had to cut 1/4 of their department, the department that he's in.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know how we're gonna do it, like, because it's like, unlike other parts of the government, they don't have any like you're not allowed to be in that role. If you slack off, like everyone is very much. Type
it's noticeable if you're not doing your job.
Yeah. Like he's like, I don't know how we're gonna do this because it's like, who we're gonna cut? I don't know. They're all amazing. Like that's everyone there is like super like genius level, crazy smart, and it's like I don't.
Yeah.
And hardworking. Like
they haven't talked exact numbers with our agency, and actually we were talking about this today. How surprised we were. Normally. So there's a couple people up at the top, an SES person. She's the number 2 in the agency, and then a handful of people that are kind of on this team with her that are coming up with a plan to become more efficient. But they haven't, like, nothing's leaked out.
Right.
Usually by now, like something like what their process is or like a percentage or whatever, but nobody's really.
Yeah.
Nobody's talked about anything. So anyways, but I mean, I'm not stressing about it. We'll be all right. Yeah. I will say, I don't know if I talked about it too much. I shared a couple of like my recent successes in the gym a few episodes ago, and I've been talking to Chris about it. Like about a month ago, I just kind of caught this second win. Like all of my old injuries, like I slowly rehabbed and built up some strength in my back and all that jazz. And I've just been feeling so good in the gym. Whereas like a year ago, I was like, I'm never going to lift like heavy to be strong again. And maybe there's some value in that, like in protecting my back and knees and all that jazz. But like, I was just feeling so good. I was like, fuck it. Let's see if I could push it a little bit. So I've been hitting PRs that I haven't had since like my late 20s. But also I told myself, well, if you're going to do this, you're not going to starve yourself through it. We're not trying to get cut. Like if I'm trying to like be healthy and push heavy, I'm going to fuel the fire. So I've been eating like I've been lifting heavy, and I put on like 15 pounds in the last month. Now, a lot of it's muscle, but it's also late night snacks and, that pound of ground beef that I eat just because I'm hungry and I need red meat,
Yeah.
So, as you should.
Yeah. So, but also pool season is right around the corner. So sometime soon, I gotta kind of figure out where I want to plateau and slowly start eating smart and try and get those abs by summertime. But man, when I tell you my legs are tree trunks again, man, I'm loving it.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. I think I'm loving being able to do that and not be in so much pain. Like, I mean, even a year ago, a sneeze would put me down on the ground. So anyways, It feels good.
Nice. Good on you. Keep it up.
Yeah.
I need to get back into my routine more. It's been tough because we've been so busy, but anyway. Have things every night. It's getting to that busy season. There's stuff like my son started soccer again. So we have soccer practice some nights. And it's just, there's something every night. Yep. Anyway, Chris, what about you? What's going on?
Man, I'm chilling.
Awesome.
No other way of putting it. I start my new job on the 6th, and beyond that, I've had vacation time I needed to get rid of at the other job because they won't pay me back for it. So I'm like, all right, well,
deuces.
I'll be back on my last day.
Yeah.
I know I have to be there for my last day, so I'll be back for my last day. I've been doing a ton of projects around the house. I feel really good because they're all getting done successfully. And like right now, I'm working at my new desk. So that in and of itself is awesome. I put it together this morning, and I've started to clean up the office finally and get things organized, and my downstairs is organized, and I mulched my yard, and I cleaned some crap up that wasn't mine, but it needed to be done. So then I've worked my part-time job a few times. So yeah.
I am in my kitchen. I don't have a desk anymore. So this is it. I'm jealous. I want a desk. But no, kitchen. Guys, renovations. Eventually I'll have my own little
you have a whole nook, so
well, this isn't a nook. Oh, this is a breakfast. I guess it's the breakfast nook or whatever.
Yeah. But no, I'm saying you'll have your own nook eventually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, your podcast nook.
Yeah. Well, it's my closet. It's a cloffice.
That works.
Office.
Perfect. So I'll have all my clothes behind me. But it's fine.
Yep.
New turn.
Speaking of cloffice, that's pretty much where they have Semirog.
Yes. Good segue.
Boom.
Well done. Questions of Control, Chapter 17. Let's go right into it. So Serene interrogates Semirog and is getting nowhere. Absolutely.
Where you going? Nowhere.
Yeah. I feel like that's just one of those things where, they're trying to get something, and then Semirog just looks up and just...
It's all there, black and white, clear as crystal. You get nothing. You...
That kind of covers it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's definitely, in all the back and forths, and even in chapters before this, Semirog just has this condescending, I'm above you, you're beneath me, attitude. Yeah.
Yep.
And the Aes Sedai, the wise ones that tried. I mean, they've had decent tactics, but the whole time leading up to this, Cad Swain has had this internal monologue of trying to figure out all right, if it was me, what would break me? What's it going to take? And then in the this chapter, of course, we have that eureka moment. So,
yep. And of course, in the good old Robert Jordan fashion, this is not Brandon Sanderson, but stays true to Robert Jordan because we're going to do.
You must tie her down on a bed and spank her. You must spank her.
I love how Alan just couldn't wait. He was like, all right, great, let's jump to the end. That's it. So this is a short chapter, right? It was only 15 minutes or something.
No, we switched to
Well,
parents' point of view after this.
I was gonna say we do have a point of view
We-
switch. So we
Yeah, we have a point of view.
Okay,
And it goes,
okay.
There's like a second half to this chapter. Yeah, it's all parent.
yeah. You really just have Cat Swain listening into the interrogation,
Mhm.
and she's mulling over, how do we break her? How do we do this? What the heck? We've got to figure this out. And the girl brings beans and stuff in, and Cimarron
A simple dinner.
I will not eat this crap again. And of course she's like, bring me something better. Go get her something better. And then it like dawns on her. She's like, we are treating this woman with respect. We're putting too much respect on her name.
Even if it's based in fear, we still have her up on this pedestal.
Right.
And we keep acting that way. Yep.
And we need to stop.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, we're going to do more than stop. I'm going to give her a spanking for being a child.
Yeah.
That's what she does.
She tosses her around like a rag doll and then spanks her. It was, yeah.
Yep. And then she gets the.
Yeah, kind of like, I mean, she does it perfectly. Starts the spanking, asks a couple questions, waits for a response. Semirog still tries to stay on her high horse, and Catsway just goes, tisk tisk, and starts wailing on her again. Like she doesn't even explain herself, just tisk tisk. Back to the spankings. Like that was the wrong answer.
And then it gets to the end where it's like the trauma child, like where it's she's lifts her hand. Okay, I'm good. All right, no more, please.
Yeah.
She
Finally
shoves
Yeah.
her beans down her throat.
Yeah.
All that good stuff.
Yeah, and to make it worse, it wasn't just the Aes Sedai around there. As she's getting spanked, the servants and everything, everybody's watching, and it just makes the humiliation worse.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
At the end of the
Hazing's
day,
always fun.
Yeah, there's versions of torture that would work on me. Like I said in previous episodes, everybody has their breaking point, but the humiliation thing wouldn't work on me because there's no shame. Yeah. There's other ways to get me, but not that one.
Yeah.
You want me to eat beans off the floor? Fuck, I've eaten beans off the floor. I don't care who watches. Yeah.
Dignity. I think I lost that back in 2007, somewhere way back in like the pile of trash.
I don't even know where I put it.
I don't even know where it is at this point.
Right.
It's somewhere back there. I just.
Yep.
Ugh. Anyways, yeah. There's definitely different methods that work for different people, but torture. I mean, I guess this is a form of torture. Torture usually doesn't work, but the humiliation's different. I guess it works for some people. Yeah. It's not waterboarding. Where I always joke around thinking my son, like he wants to because he's 3 years old, so we do a bath. He's like, I want to pour the water on my head myself. I'm like, it's just waterboard. Like, dude, you don't have to torture yourself when you take a bath.
That's hilarious.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's a kid for you, right?
It's a kid thing. Yeah. I think kids always waterboard themselves. Like, I don't know. Maybe around water so much too. I don't know. I mean, I've never been waterboarded, but I'm like, I've had so much water like up my nose and every which way from swim practice, and like basically feel like I'm drowning like nonstop, and still able to keep a cool head. Like, I don't know if it would work on me. Like,
all right.
I don't know.
So, picture yourself at the beach. I'm sure this has happened at least once, if not a dozen times in your life. You're either boogie boarding or body surfing,
and the waves just keep coming.
Right. The waves are a dash too big. You push it too hard. You come up to take a gasp of air and you barely get some in, and the next wave crashes on you. And then it happens again. And after that time, you're like, all right, if I don't get a good breath on this one, or if I'm not able to push off the ground, I might actually be effed. And then you come up and you just barely get another gasp of air, and then you get pummeled again by the next wave. It's like that, but nonstop. You have the involuntary, sucking in, trying to breathe, but you can't. But you're all along the way, you're getting just barely enough air that you don't actually pass out. And anyways, I've never experienced it. I've watched videos on it, and everything that's been described to me from people that have gone through it and even volunteered to go through it, so they understood what it was like. It is like the worst form of torture.
Yeah.
You're like right on that edge of like trying to cling to life, and you don't go past it, and the relief isn't there. It hovers you right there.
Yeah. I don't know.
And-
Like 1,000 paper cuts seems a lot worse.
All right. So on the next episode, we're gonna waterboard Alan. So
we're gonna do it live.
and then he's
on camera.
that he's gonna tell us what it feels like.
Ready? Here we go. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't recommend it. There's a reason we don't do it anymore. And we've talked about this too. Like, you got to be careful. There's trying to find a way to compel somebody, manipulate them, find their weakness, and get them to talk.
Yeah.
And then actual torture just really isn't effective, because once you cross into that, people will say whatever it takes to make it stop.
Right.
So you're going to get bad intel at that point.
Yeah. They're not going to get anything good. Yep.
Yeah. So that stuff in the movies where they're like peeling off nails and like doing all this horrible stuff, and then they get the answer and it solves that doesn't happen.
Never.
Nope.
Yep.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we learned that the hard way.
So we end with Sunrog eating stuff off the floor.
Yep. And then she's like, she's just a person. Just a person.
Bum, bum, bum. She might have secrets, but little boys have secrets too.
Yeah.
She ain't special.
Part.
Yeah.
Little boys have secrets. Why little boys? Why not little girls? I think girls have more secrets than boys.
Well, it goes back to how Jordan, when he built this world, he kind of flipped some traditional roles that we're used to. So if it was like written in the male dominant kind of way, it'd be, one guy torturing another guy and being like, well, even little girls have secrets. And that would be a way to be, to punch a mother down, kick a mother down sort of thing. So it's flipping the script on that,
Yeah.
Okay. I can accept that.
If the FBI wasn't listening to this podcast, they are now.
So that's how we get our viewership up.
That's how we get our viewership up, man. We get all the bots and the government bots now listening to us. Let's jack those numbers up, man. Anyways, so it's just a parent's point of view where he's meeting with Grady, and Grady's like, "But I'm late tired." It's like, dude, make a gateway. But I'm late tired. So take a nap, then make the gateway. So
this is a little more of what we've already talked about. And, Perrin mentions like he's still getting pulled by Rand to move north. He knows he has to.
Right.
There's still we've talked about this so many times, the logistics of moving all these people. And Sanderson / Jordan, they solve for, well, why don't you just gate everywhere you go? Well, just because you have these people with you, you can't overuse them. Like, they can only do but so much.
Yeah.
So it's just like, why not? Why can't you do it? Why can't you handle it?
Right.
Meanwhile, he like demands this kind of stuff on the Ashaman, and then goes and takes a nap. He's like, all right, try to figure it out so we can send some people. I'm gonna go sleep in the wolf dream.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go take a nap.
He's trying to find himself again, so we're gonna give him a pass. It's Perrin. Like, yes, always.
Who?
Perrin always gets a pass.
Who?
He's back. And he's back for good. So
yeah, Perrin, they pointed out in this chapter in some of his internal monologue where even he recognizes that, all right, he knows there's been this bigger picture, and there's things that he was dealing with before Fael got taken away of, am I this leader? Do I want people to follow me? Like, do I take on that responsibility? Blah, blah, blah. But all of that paused. He was very narrow focused when it came time to get Fael.
Yeah.
And even he's thinking about it during this chapter of like, all right, do I want to lead these people? Or maybe I need to. They're going to follow me anyways. Somebody's got to take care of them. I tabled all of these things I was struggling with, but it's still there. He's got to face it.
And there's also the bigger worries about the rage of being the wolf that's locked up inside.
Yeah.
He mentioned, the idea of a wolf locked in a cage. He's talking about our boy Gnome. I'm waiting for Gnome to come back.
Ooh. Hot take.
He will. He's
No.
coming.
So that's from
Gnome
book
is that goofy hyena from
book 3.
Lion King.
Oh yeah. Is it?
Say it again.
Ooh, Mufasa.
What did you say?
But I mean,
¿Qué
you're
pasa?
you're talking about Eddie or Ed or whatever his name
Eddie,
was.
Ed, yeah, Ed.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. I mean, it's not much in the parents. It's a little blip. Parent decides that Grady and Neild will open gateways just for a small amount of people each day. They'll just keep on.
Yeah.
If it takes forever, we'll just try to get a few people through and just keep on, keep moving.
And keep moving, everybody.
Yep.
Everybody's going up north. He's really taking an army of people with him. He needs to start training them, is what he needs to do.
Mm.
Yeah.
Anybody that can hold a spear needs to learn how to use it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Truth.
Anyway, anything else from this chapter before we move to chapter 18?
He's still
I hope he has a good nap.
Yeah, he's gonna have a great nap. Oh, they even mentioned him trying to kill Hopper, which I'm like, I forgot all about that.
Yeah, kill Hopper.
Well, and the nap was significant too because he also said he's been avoiding going to the dream world or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
and he's like, I need to get back to that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, which is promising. Like maybe if we get another parent perspective, he's in the dream world and we get some more Hopper interaction or we get some more intel from that side of things. So that's promising. It's not just a little nap. I think good things can come from that.
Yeah.
And I'm still reaching back to, gosh, I don't know how long ago I threw it out there, but like as part of this final battle, it's not just going to be in the waking world. There's going to be a dream world type battle that's critical. And I still think Perrin's going to play a big role in that.
Okay.
You also said you thought Perrin was going to turn on everybody. So I agree with your first statement. I don't agree with the second.
I don't know if I feel it the same way I did before, but I think between Matt Perrin and Rand, we're still not at a point where they all just happily come together. I think conditions are going to be that they're going to end up on opposite sides fighting. Maybe they don't even know it at first. But yeah, there's going to be some sort of conflict.
We got the highest likelihood of Matt being the person to be an issue. Just because
I don't disagree.
Tuon wants. I know we're going to get to that.
Yeah.
Based on what Tuon wants of Rand, I could see that being a big problem.
Yeah.
Sure. Yep.
Yeah. All right. You guys ready for chapter 18? A message in haste? All right.
Yeah.
So Swan's holding a meeting of the hall. She sees Shireen outside, who's regained some composure. And Shireen reveals that Ashmanala has discovered that Elida has traveling. Dun, dun, dun.
Don't forget Swan was carrying some laundry, her own laundry, because she ain't doing no man's laundry no more. She gonna make some lowly people do the laundry because we could put them to work.
I don't know.
Is important.
I don't know if that's quite it. She'll have somebody else do her laundry, but I think she still likes doing his.
No, she wasn't doing her laundry. She was going to do her laundry. She had somebody else do his. Maybe.
Well, that might be the most important part of this chapter. So
the laundry.
Okay. Yeah. And
not the traveling. Not the traveling.
We can move on. But here's so I know we read so slow sometimes I forget things. But my first reaction was like, wait, what? No, they don't. Like Elida doesn't. We've just been doing this Elida stuff, so it's fresh in my mind. And Egwene and them have been pretty good about keeping that stuff a secret. So unless it's slipped out and we haven't been told yet, I already had a question mark here. So how this chapter unfolded wasn't too surprising to me. I was already kind of suspecting that at first. That it was bullshit.
Yep. But they had a clerk that described both Nasita and a gateway. which is, that makes it true. It's like the internet. If it's on the internet, it's true.
Right. And even if there is somebody that's doing that, without getting to the end of this little chapter or this little section, I didn't think it was Elida and the White Tower.
No.
Yeah.
Because if they had that ability, they would not be using it to just go collect money.
Oh no, not
I mean,
at all.
how dumb is that?
Yeah.
So
Elida
it just
would've already
the story
squashed
wasn't
it.
adding up.
No.
Yeah, but they're still being cautious. They still send a messenger to Bryn to let him know that they might,
No,
have discovered.
Swan is the messenger to Bryn. We need to be very clear because she's the only one thinking with
Yeah.
the clear head here.
Right.
And she
Yeah.
gets very wound up about it, though. Like she
Yeah.
was reactive here. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but
if
took
that
the bait.
has been discovered, that is a huge tactical disadvantage for
Correct.
a regular army. That your flanks can be can be compromised instantly. Like that's not a good thing for any military strategy.
Right.
It's like
But
Shiriam didn't think to do it. The entire little congregation didn't think to do it.
Yeah.
right, everybody was just getting wound up with the news and being gossipy about it, instead of taking appropriate action. So good on Swan for that.
Yeah.
I can't help but flash forward a little bit to the next chapter. But I was already thinking to myself, okay, even if that's not true, giving that warning to Gareth Bryn, still smooth, because it's going to put them on a high alert and checking all their flanks and probably double checking behind each other, making sure people didn't randomly get taken out. But that could still come into play because we believe there's going to be this Sean Chan attack. So his preparation for possible traveling by Elida is still going to put him in a better position to now defend themselves from this outside attack from the Sean Chan. So I'm not mad about any of it.
Well, I'm hoping the Sean Chan just bypass this group and go straight for the tower.
Yeah. But again, so we got to jump to the other chapter. My only thing with that is these things can't just fly from where they are to where they're going. And they even talk about how they have to find fields and places to kind of rest and this, that, and the other along the way. So as they get closer, Gareth Bryn being as smart as he is and having scouts all over the place, and now he's not just scouting looking into the tower, he's probably going to be smart and be scouting looking 360 all the way around him and off into some distance. I think this ends up being their early warning to the Sean Chan attack.
You sound like Lillian sitting here spreading discourse,
Mm-hmm.
down through our minds.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's why she purposely was like, no, don't seal the flame. No, let the flame spread. Let it burn.
Yep.
Let it burn your body.
Oh yeah, she's definitely sowing some bad seeds within this group, and Swan's trying to keep everything together. You know, keep everybody loyal to Egwene too. I mean, that's there's definitely some tension in the rebel camp.
Yeah, Swan's like, I slipped up putting so much faith in her.
Yeah,
because there's a lot of politicking happening here, and I missed this one.
Yeah.
But all right, so Swan's also been a little distracted. One, with her powers being diminished. Two, with the Gareth Bryn stuff. But I started thinking towards the end of this chapter, okay, if somebody needs to be in a leadership position there with Egwene being gone temporarily, right? These Aes Sedai don't do well, like just constantly battling for who's in charge. Somebody needs to take charge. But you want somebody, like Egwene said, that is still following her, like Swan talks about, that is still loyal to Egwene and the mission that she's doing. So what better person is there than Swan?
Yeah.
Why not?
Because
fine, I know she's not strong in the power, but for her to rise to the top, or I don't even know if she would call herself Amerlin in Egwene's absence. Like maybe there's some other position they call it. I don't know, but Swan would be the perfect candidate to take charge of this group and either relinquish it to Egwene when the time is right, or I trust her more than
they put
others.
too much. They put too much weight on how powerful of a channeler you are, and
correct.
Swan's
yeah.
And then Swan's also playing the less than person so that she stays in the know about many other things.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Because
true.
it's part of her plan. Like she does not want them, the group, the collective, to think that she's manipulating or even coaching Egwene.
Yeah.
So, she's been grooming Egwene from the beginning, coaching
Well, then
her, teaching her.
She would need to encourage somebody to that leadership role. It would need to be somebody that Swan can influence and have a close relationship with, but that is also going to be loyal to Egwene. Boom. Yep.
Sure.
That's what I started thinking as you were saying that.
But we know
That might be
Shiriam's been in cahoots with the Dark Friend, right?
I don't think intentionally.
By proxy, yeah. So
I think accidentally.
I think Shiriam's the best option, but
Okay.
Yeah, it might come with its own problems, but anywho.
Yeah. And that's pretty. I mean, is there anything else from this chapter? I don't even know.
I'm thinking like if she grabs Gariprin's rod and swears on it, then maybe.
Yeah.
Katie.
Oh Lordy. Yes.
Chapter 19. Tuon sees chaos.
I hate that instantly gave me a mental picture.
In my picture, he's in a coat of armor.
Yeah. Right.
So, anything else in this chapter before we move to the chapter 19? Gambits.
No.
Okay. All right. Gambits, chapter 19. We're with Tuon. She enters
chaos. Chaos.
What do you say?
So all she sees is chaos. Chaos everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she feels like even though she's surrounded by protection, like she doesn't feel any safer than she did when she was with Matt. Like it's
only Matt can keep her safe.
Yeah. She's like, as a matter of fact, I felt safe with him. That's weird. That's odd.
Yeah.
I miss him. I mean, I don't miss him. The toy.
Yep. So she gets all of her regalia around, and Selucia, her truth speaker, who speaks for the Empress.
And she admitted to before they even get this far that the loss of Suroth was kind of a blow to her, even though Suroth's not gone. She's gone in the eyes of the soon to be Empress, because she realizes she now has to claim that title to keep things moving, especially with the end days coming, or the last battle coming. So she was just thoroughly upset that her, that she lost one of her number one people to betrayal. And she's like, now I don't know who I can trust around me at all. Maybe none of you guys.
Yep. So Beslan comes in. Yep.
We have some things that kind of happen before that, before Beslan comes in.
Did we? What happens before that?
I know you were planning a revolution.
That's with Beslan there. That's with Beslan. Yeah, he was talking to Beslan.
You're reading my notes. I'm like, wait a second, I got the names mixed up, because then the woman walks in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that thing's a little bit mixed up. Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, Beslan.
It's like he comes in pretty early. Yeah, and she's like, "Yeah, you're planning a rebellion," but but that was before the Empress's death, so it could be forgiven. But
I wasn't in prison. I'm not in charge, and now I am.
Now I am, so I can forgive it. But we need to stop all that right now, because she's thinking about it like if she executes him, it could be actually worse for stability and things like that. She needs to play this, interesting.
Yeah,
the Godfather thing makes an offer you can't refuse. Literally, like you have two options: you can die, we'll just execute you, or you can swear fealty, but I will raise you to the high blood, and no one except for me can give you any orders, and you'll have pretty much autonomy. So death or a sanctioned king with all the
perks,
protection.
That's her cake.
The options were death or cake.
Didn't really give him a choice.
I'll take the cake.
I'll take the cake.
Well, we're all out of cake. Everybody's choosing cake.
The cake.
Sorry, that was an Eddie Izzard reference.
Yeah.
If anybody's ever,
Yeah.
that's a throwback.
It is.
Sorry, I'm making an omelet because I'm hungry. I thought about this before. Like this was my favorite chapter of the night. But unless we just sat here and read all of Tuon's parts to you, like that's the only way you really get the full effect. So we could talk about it, and it's going to sound kind of, she said these cool things and convinced this guy. But the way it was written, and I did the audible listening to it. Like,
Genius.
I've been uneasy about her and not knowing fully what to think. I was kind of liking the story between her and Matt and everything.
Sure.
But I'm really liking her now and her leadership style and the way she sees the big picture and this opportunity she gave him and recognizing that her own people kind of effed him over. Like it was, gosh, if you haven't reread this chapter, it's worth a reread or go listen to it again. This is fantastic. Tuon. I loved it.
Tuon's one of the most, not the most, but one of the most divisive characters in the Wheel of Time because people hate Tuon, not because of how she acts, but because she's a slaver. And she condones slavery. And how can you like anyone that condones slavery?
We can have a conversation about ethical and cultural relativism.
Yeah.
I mean, there's something to be said about being born into it. But then you also see, she talks about when he bends the knee and gives his oath, and then all the other people want to jump in and correct him and be like, that's not how you give an oath. And even she's like, all right, we're coming here making all these demands of these people. It kind of only makes sense that, we receive their oaths the way they give them in a way that's meaningful to them.
Otherwise, it's just
so,
right. It means nothing to them. Like, sure, I'll say these words. Doesn't mean anything to me. But if I say like my oath, that means a lot to me. That's more powerful than what she told me to say.
Correct.
Sure. So you rarely have these like giant leaps and change in cultural morality. It's these gradual changes. And so I already see evidence of gradual changes in her understanding of the world around her. So I can't fault her that she was born into this life and taught that this is the way things are. But
people blame a young girl for 1,000 years of culture.
Right. That's put Whataholic on the show. Just said it way better than I tried to there.
Yeah. Yeah. Not that we're condoning slavery any kind of way on our podcast.
At the end of the day,
slavery bad.
It's wrong. And she sat here and still did and said what she said with him, she's also like, but I also need Rand to bend the knee. I need to collar all the Damani of this land.
Right.
I need to like whip the people in shape. They will, they'll still carry on their life, but they'll be under me. Right. And I have to do it very, very, very rapidly.
Right.
So, yeah.
So we're mad at her for the actual physical collars.
Irish, you're awesome.
But we're mad at her for the actual physical collars that she's trying to put on these Aes Sedai. But we're not going to talk about the economic collar that gets thrown on all of us, our mortgages, our debt that we're encouraged to take on and then work our whole life paying, and we just get stuck in these positions of serving the economy that we don't necessarily benefit from.
Oh no, trust me.
What's the difference? Your 30-year note is no different than those collars she's throwing on Aes Sedai. But we could talk about that another day if you want.
There's a whole one of the big reasons why Nikola Tesla didn't invent more was because he lost all his funding. Because there's a theory out there that he actually discovered a way to get free energy out of the atmosphere to give free power to everybody. And JP Morgan was the one that was funding his research. And the famous quote that JP Morgan asked him is like, how do we put a meter on it? Oh, we can't charge people for it? No, I'm not paying you. Cutting all your funding. If I can't make money off this, I don't care. So, you have like what, everything. There's a good quote. Everything you need and commoditize it. Like, you find anything in the entire world and just put a price tag on it. Like that's a lot of Western civilization. Things that should not cost anything, we pay for over and over again. I'm not going to get it, but there's a lot of that. Yeah. Anyway, I had a long talk with someone the other day at work about that. They asked me if my political affiliation. And I was like, I don't like any politicians. I was like, I don't care which side, right or left. I don't like any of them. Like they're all corrupt, and they're all corrupt, and they're all like greedy, and I don't like any of them. Like, so whatever. Like, I just like them all. So I think both sides have good points, and they have good policies, and they also have that both sides have really horrible policies and really horrible things. And I'm not picking the lesser of two evils. I'm against all of it. So yeah, that's my stand.
And that was kind of Tuon's thought when it came to Tar Valon. She's like, you know what? I need it. It might upset the Karn, which they don't call that. It might upset Rand, the Dragon Reborn. But at the same time, we need it. But at the same time, we don't want to attack. But at the same time, we should. So it's just what's the best choice? Maybe neither. Maybe both.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that, when you have a plan to overcome, I mean, her two generals were like, hey, we can take this tower.
Yeah. But before that, we did get Beslan. We're skipping ahead to that. Before that, Beslan does actually swear fealty.
Come in with this. Yeah, he does.
She's like, I'll give you a day to think about it. And he's like, don't need a day right now. I swear.
Let's make a deal.
Smart guy.
We're good. We're good. We'll just do that right now. That's get that over and done with. But yeah, now on to the White Tower. So yeah, the general has a plan to get the toe rocking. Use 80 to 100 toe rocking to 200 soldiers linked with 50 Soldam and Damani, and a company of blood knives.
Yeah, that was the best part.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like the most badass of soldiers, but they don't come back. Their job is to stay and just wreak havoc to kind of cover the retreat and also diminish and damage as much as they can their opponent beyond like the initial raid. That's awesome.
Yeah. It reminds me of like Persian Immortals, the immortal army of the Persians. Like they were set up like that. Like, and the reason why they called them immortal armies because they all were trained exactly the same, so they moved exactly the same, had the exact same armor, and they wear face masks or face plates so you couldn't see them. So they all look the same. And as soon as you killed one, there's always one right behind them. So like it just looked like it was a mortal army. Like you couldn't kill them. Like you just killed them. There's another guy right there again, like the same guy. It's like, but it's not. I mean, obviously, it's just thousands and thousands of troops. But yeah, blood knives. Yeah, they're pretty cool concept that they're just wreak havoc and yeah. But they're super elite. Yeah. Then Tuon's kind of going back and forth with the decision, but then they bring in the Trolloc heads.
Mm-hmm.
This is the lady that fought with Perrin, right?
Tylee.
And then after leaving Perrin, ran into the Trollocs.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Just want to make sure it's the same person because she does throw that nugget in there in her report. She's like, "Oh, by the way, on that raid to attack the Aiel, which you know about, I linked up with a bunch of like random locals and whatnot, and none of them swore the oaths, but I'll tell you about that later." And honestly, this whole chapter is great, but that's the conversation I want to hear about. Like, how is that going to play out?
Yeah.
Because she likes and respects Perrin.
Right.
But also recognizes that like if we have to fight against him, like this isn't going to be easy. which probably influences her decision later, where she makes the very bold recommendation of, you might want to consider being friends with these people.
Yeah, friends with the Dragon Reborn, rather than try to make them like bow to you. Like, might be better just an ally. Like,
right? Yeah. Sorry to jump around some. Well, before she comes in, Tuon basically said that her decision's like, all right, let's carry on with the attack. We're going to go attack the White Tower, and I'm not going to have this meeting with the Dragon Reborn because Rand was asking for a meeting. She's like, that's my decision. So then you get this report from her and showing the Trolloc heads and like, hey, this stuff is real. It's not make believe.
Right.
By the way, I serve these folks, and we need to be friends with them. So like everybody gasped at that, and even Tuon has this internal monologue of like, this kind of lowly general is bold enough to not only speak her mind, but in direct contradiction of what I just said we should do.
Right.
So it was a very moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good moment. Though.
So she does agree at the very end that, to meet Rand, at least in her head.
Yeah. Well, and we didn't touch on this. They started talking again about their visions and not visions, but like, what are they? They're not foretellings.
They're prophecies.
Like kind of no, what is the word they use though?
Not symbols, but
it's part of the sonic cycle. I don't know.
It's like, I saw 3 towers and a raven doing backflips in between them,
omens.
and
omens.
Omens. That's what it is. And then all the Shan-Chan, like, as they hear this, they all go, oh, okay, yeah, we know what that means.
Yeah.
And the non-Shan-Chan folk in the room are like, the fuck is that? What the hell is wrong with these people? So there was an omen that there would be a very difficult decision to be made or something. And so Tuon was dealing with that and listening to the generals and like, oh, I guess the hard decision is whether or not we attack the White Tower. But then after this general comes in and makes her plea and everything, the hard decision looks more like, wait a minute, maybe you actually need to meet with Rand even before taking the tower and having this position of strength. Like you need to do it now, sort of thing. So she comes around to it.
Yeah.
I love her flexibility.
That's always a good thing. I told you all about that yoga instructor that I dated for a little while, right? Flexibility is, it's something else, man.
Something else. There you go. So yeah, that's how we end this chapter. Anyway,
yeah. And also with her like realizing that she now has a truth speaker, and so she has to actually listen.
Yeah.
And take advice. And of course there's the I miss Matt.
Yeah.
Back.
Which didn't she say it in hand signals to her truth seeker?
Yeah. I love this. D came in. Omens be crazy. Taviran is the real shit. And astrology?
I remember her being asked that. She was like, Are you Taviran? Remember he asked, what is his name? The son who swore loyalty. He's like, are you Taviran?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And she's like, these people and their Taviran.
It's so silly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this whole chapter, I said it earlier, but this whole chapter really there's opportunity for a conversation about cultural and ethical relativism. It comes up a lot in all of these books, but yeah, definitely a big part of this chapter.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. Anyway,
I mean, that was it for the chapters.
Yep.
Yeah, sorry if I butchered this chapter. I jumped all over the place. I went to the end to get to the middle, just to reference the beginning, to go back to the end.
Okay.
And then, yeah.
That's the Will Reads.
Right.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's see. Favorite character. That's where we are.
It's a hard one.
Giggity.
I'm gonna go with Tuon.
That's a good pick.
She stepped right into her role immediately, took care of business, and showed why she's deserving of the role. And then she also showed a level of forgiveness, and that
and
was
wisdom.
super smart of her. Very wise. Yep.
I like that, and all of her decrees and everything she talked about. It's like every group in the room took turns gasping at what was said. So like it was definitely out of character as far as what you would expect from somebody in that role. But she even spoke to it at one point.
Yeah.
When she just flat out said Sean Chan is like all jacked up right now, and everybody gasped. And she's like, "What? You think I'm going to be in denial about it? Like, we got to speak about this openly. Like, shit's messed up right now."
Yeah.
Anyways, good pick.
Yeah.
Good pick.
I found out what I was looking for. I just found it on Google. I was looking for a Robert Jordan quote because someone one time in an interview, I think it was at a con, asked him, if you could describe the Wheel of Time series in 6 words or less, what would you say? And it's one of my favorite Robert Jordan quotes. He says, "I've written a few million words so far. If you want me to summarize in 6, well, here it goes. Cultures clash, worlds change, cope. I know it's only 5 words, but I hate to be wordy." We're talking about the culture clashing. That's what I just reminded me of that Robert Jordan quote. Cultures clash, worlds change. Cope.
That's great.
Figure it out. Cope. So yeah. Tuon, what do you got, Ian? Who's your favorite?
I think I'll pull from the same chapter, but it'll be the general that fought with Perrin, the one that just came in and laid it all out after what she experienced. Because Tuon hit the nail on the head. Like this person definitely risked it up, believed in what she was saying enough to risk offending, risk being disrespectful, just very direct with it. Be like, this has got to be heard. Like, I know I'm lowly, but this is important enough. Anyways, I got respect for that.
Banner
Yes,
Ty Lee.
Yes, Ty Lee.
Ty Lee. Yeah.
That's the name.
I find myself doing that at work too often.
I want to pick
sitting there in meetings.
I want to pick Cimarron, and I'm not going to answer any questions as far as why.
I mean,
because I'm hungry, man. Beans on the floor sound really good right now.
He was giving them all a run for their money for a very long time. So
she had all the mice that I wrapped around her little finger.
Yeah,
just can't mess with the cat Swain,
including Cat Swain. Cat Swain was even like, I don't like. First off, I don't want to give myself up, but second, like, she's a legend.
Yeah.
And she reminds me a lot of myself. That part scared me a little bit. I was like, what does she remind you? What else are you that we don't know? Are you really Dark Friend?
Well, no, it's because that's Grendel. Cat Swain's Grendel.
Oh.
Nah, I won't go with that. I can't go that far.
All right. Well, next week we'll be doing 3 chapters again. We're on a 3 train for a while.
3?
Yeah, I think next week we're doing 3, and then the week after that we're doing 4.
Oh wow!
But the week after that, I think, the week. Nope, not there yet. And then the following weeks I haven't decided yet. We might do a live reaction chapter. I haven't decided yet.
Okay.
I know I'm going to do 1, and that's the one I'm kind of iffy on. If I'm going to do 2, I might do that one. But anyway, so 3 chapters next week. The chapter titles are Chapter 20, On a Broken Road. Chapter 21, Embers and Ash. And Chapter 22, The Last That Could Be Done.
They're all Matt chapters. Matt's finally going to save Moraine.
Oh, okay.
I hope we get into that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
Any other thoughts, Chris?
Nope, I stopped.
Okay.
Because I was going to say something negative. I'm like, nope, she's going to get rescued. So we're going to leave it alone.
We're going to leave it alone. Okay. All right. You think it's going to be this book?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Or at the very least, at the end of this book, when we get some resolution to something,
then we do need
Matt will help Tom find a unicorn, and they leave to go get her.
Who?
Tom.
Who? Who's Tom?
Thom.
Who?
Thom.
We haven't seen that guy forever. Does he still exist? It's still alive.
It's true. He's not been in the book for minutes, but he'll be there.
Possibly a time travel side quest. Yeah.
Ooh,
time traveling Tam.
Remember, I didn't share with the masses. It's not just that it's time traveling Tam, but Tam is Rand. Ooh. And in a previous turn of the wheel, Tam, who was also Rand, realized that he didn't have what it took to defeat the Dark One. So what he did is he time traveled to get Rand, another version of him, to raise him in the way that he needed to be raised in order to put him on that trajectory to be able to win. So there's going to be Rand plus Tam, who's technically the same person.
Rand. Time traveling Rand.
Yes.
Tam.
It's just Rand hasn't discovered the time travel yet. Well, technically he has.
Kind of. Yeah.
But Tam's perfected it enough. And he's using it for a purpose. He's like, I can't win, but I can make sure the next me wins. Boom. Tam is Rand. Rand is Tam.
Rand. No, I'm not going to agree with that one, but it would be fun.
Chris is like, you're on your own.
Yep.
So he raised himself. Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
The older version of. Isn't there a movie where that happens, like where he goes and like meets his younger self and kind of hangs out with him a bunch? I'm trying to remember. There's like a more recent movie where that happens. Anyway.
I don't know. I guess it's tell me.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, they touch on that in was it Endgame?
Yeah, Ian's definitely read ahead. Now we know that Ian's definitely
I figured it out.
Sure.
Anyways, fun times. Well, that's how we get found. TheWillReads.com. It's a website where you can find links to Patreon. You can join our happy little family. You can also find links to merchandise. You can buy things like our t-shirts. They're kind of cool. The Adam Project, Ryan Reynolds. That's it. Yeah, the Adam Project. That was the movie. I didn't see the whole thing.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you, Slevin 711. Yeah, so I find links to Discord, social medias, all that good stuff. I am trying to work on catching up. I'll put out episodes. Once I catch up, I'll be more on social media, I promise. I'm not promising when. I'm not giving you a timeline. Just when it happens.
It will happen.
It will happen. I will not tell you, but there will be signs. There will be signs.
All right.
So anyway, subscribe, do all those fun things, help the algorithm out. And that's pretty much all I got for this week. So
until next time.
Peace.
Okay, bye. Thank you for watching The Wheel Reads.
Until next time.
Okay, bye.
Get your Coast Guard certified life-saving device ready and strapped on.
Oh, where are we going tonight?
What kind of strap on you talking about?
Traveling.